Welcome back to Virtual Insanity, the series where I look at sterile environments and critique them to varying levels of success. I really appreciate all the feedback from the last one. There was a little influx of submissions, which I can find kinda entertaining. I guess seeing 7,000 images didn't stop people, but that's alright. We're here to look at images that were sent all the way back from May of 2021, which is fairly far away from February 5th, 2021, which is the date of recording. But it's not going to stop me from trying. So let us begin again with more images, starting off with one sent in by Ralph. Oh, and make sure to stick around to the end. So this image is one that I would actually consider transitionatory. The room is messy and broken down. There are cables and wires hanging from the walls. It takes place in what looks like to be an office or a classroom setting. There appears to be a reflection on the image, intentional or not, so the photo itself is actually taken outside of the room, through a window of some sort. The middle row looks cleaner compared to the rest of the floor, and the straight design of the ceiling guides the image down visually, making this door a nice resting point. This effect makes the wires appear uncanny, almost like they are mimicking certain shapes. However, this is clearly just done by a maintenance crew, it's not like somebody set this up. To take it one step beyond, the image's natural symmetry comes from the fact that the setting actually takes place in the earlier mentioned office or classroom environment. This room at one point was designed a certain way. There's a reason for the lights, the wires, and the doors being put in these places. At one point there was something here. Something where a middle row needed to be open enough for some type of walkway. What that is, we won't find in this image. So clearly this image features a person, which for some crosses a boundary, despite what many would consider a classic liminal space image featuring some form of persons in them. For the sake of the video, let's just ignore it and keep going. So the image is framed uniquely, taking place farther away from the focus or subjects. Because of this, we see more of the carpet, more of the back wall, and even more of the ceiling. The whole room is present. With the image not being framed at normal eye level, everything appears a lot smaller than it actually is. It takes place through this lens, which creates a different perspective from what we're used to, like turning up your FOV in a video game, or changing that setting on your phone camera from 1.0 to 0.5. This photo works great in comparison to the last one, as these items appear a lot larger, showing how the image is framed closer. This makes it so the actual focus of the image is on these objects, as they tell whatever story this image is trying to portray. I know that this is an old piece of technology, but someone who doesn't know what a TV even is wouldn't, so it's clearly framed for a certain audience. The back wall also kind of has this weird mystery to it. It's oddly shaped, and looks fake or materialized. It almost appears as though it's like these weird fake walls that are set up to give the room a certain shape. This image containing normal framing, I find that the abnormality comes rather from the building itself. The old flower print wallpaper, dark dingy lighting, with the washed colors, and the stair design seen in most houses, where the basement is parallel to the stairs that also lead to the top floor. A ceiling fan is present, or at least parts of it are, and the placement for it is so odd. If I was a kid living in this house, I know I would just constantly be leaning off the edge, manually spinning the fan for fun. Besides that, who would even stay in a hallway long enough to where they would need a fan turned on? It's clearly not only a ceiling fan though, it also has a light to it as there are two chain strings visible. But still, if they needed a light in this room, rather than a ceiling fan, why wasn't there just a wall mount of some sort? There appears to be some pieces of wood peeling off the back wall, and I can't tell if this room is supposed to be a foyer or if it's just a really weirdly painted window. Especially because the stairs start against this wall and not at the front entrance area. So everything about this image looks and appears real. It just looks like it's a fake room. I mean, what purpose does this room serve? The gray carpet and yellow walls make it seem like it's not a residential area, especially with the exit sign on the wall. There's these curtained windows and a fake Christmas tree, so my first initial thought is that it's some type of office or hotel building in transition. All these elements just add up to create this mystery of an image that's confusing to look at, but works well for discussion. You can have more broad questions like what purpose is this room and where does it actually take place, to more specific ones like why is there an artificial Christmas tree in the corner, why is the door slightly opened, why is there an exit sign, things like that. Again, here's another one that appears real and it looks real, but there are just so many strange elements to it that make it seem so fake. Like, why is there one window that's popped out and just on the floor here? If we're to believe that this image is a photograph, why did the person taking the image not think of fixing the window? Or were they trying to create a non-image? I would understand if the image appeared a bit more messy, maybe with the ceiling fan being partly broken too, but it appears in perfect condition, and the floor seems although it was recently vacuumed. It's fascinating to see how one element can change so much about the entire photo. So here we have one that I've actually already covered in my Liminal Space Academy video. In that video I tried to figure out where it actually came from, but I wasn't able to, because this image is extremely popular. Anytime you reverse image search it, you'll get hit with just 100 different variations, and it's just kind of impossible. You won't get very far. I've read multiple comments from people claiming that this was their school, and I find that kind of ironic. That's clearly the intention of the image. Yes, it looks like a school you've seen before, because most schools have very similar design, and this photo intentionally hides any elements that would make it unique in any way. We're just presented with what we know. An exit sign, a fire extinguisher, the doors, and a traffic cone. All objects and things that are normally present in every school, no matter what the grade level. So finally we get to an image that's not submitted by gamer coder Ralph for once. I suppose last episode's image had one submitted by Dark of All Trades, but that's besides the point. This image was sent in by someone named Aiden's World. It takes place outdoors, and the subject is this fence with some foliage growing on it. I find that the timing of this photo works great. It doesn't take place during the daytime, so it's not bright and sunny, and it doesn't take place at night, so it's not pitch black and dark. Having it be this grayish, bluish, cloudy sky makes it unique, and goes really well with the gray walkway, gray brick wall, and other gray elements present in the image. So this image presents us with some type of public lobby area of some kind, apparent due to the restroom sign in the top right corner. The lighting is done incredibly well, appearing super bright, yet all the way at the end of the hallway, we see that this back window shows that it's nighttime outside. This level of brightness can only be artificially obtained through being in such a bright location. The hallway itself was designed really nice, so the image just seems kind of natural. The light yellows against the soft brown, and this bluish basic carpet design being so plain, it all just goes together really well for a pretty standard but nice ambiance. So finally we have our first image that was actually taken and submitted by somebody. So quick apologies to Aiden's World, as I'm going to grill you just a little bit more, be a bit more harsh with the critiquing. So this photo takes place in some type of warehouse store of some kind. I really appreciate the effort they went to in taking this photo. It shows a busy store with no people present, yet that's kind of the problem right there. The store itself is just a little bit too busy. The left side of the photo has a lot of items that make the space feel lively, and the same can be said about the right side. The middle aisle is framed in the center, which works great, and it was a good decision to include the ceiling, as it does make the space appear overall a little bit more cramped. So this photo, also of a store, properly captures liminality, showing the store with destroyed shelves and entirely empty areas. Obviously, stores and situations like this are hard to come by, and most often you'll find yourself in areas that look more like this than this. So let this serve as an example for taking liminal space images. It's more about knowing when and where is the right time. You wouldn't want to capture a space that has little to no elements of liminality to it. Yet that doesn't also mean the space has to be completely abandoned. So why don't we try a little experiment? Due to how many images are already in this channel, it's likely that if you submit an image, I won't feature it for a good while. So next episode, or maybe in an entirely separate video, let's try something new. I'll give a prompt, and we'll go over those submissions. In this case, find a store. It can be any type of store, it just has to have shelves. In said store, find an area that is completely devoid of people, as well as merchandise. So basically where the shelves are empty. It really shouldn't be too difficult considering the current times. Take a photo that you would consider liminal, and I'll briefly go over it. I'll leave a link in the description as to where you may submit the photos, if you choose to participate. This can kind of serve as a little break from this series' normal format, and it also gives you an opportunity to get involved. Leave it to me to want to change things up 2 episodes in, but at least I'm not completely abandoning the series. Let me know what you think of this episode. and if this is something you possibly want to see more of in the future. If this all goes accordingly, I think it would make a nice balance of images to cover and look at, while also featuring you all. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with your image, and as always, thank you for watching, and take care.